This is perfect, as the Padres are in need of starting pitching, and these four players would be massive impacts on this team for the Padres search. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Padres Digest with your host, Andrew. I almost messed up our name. But today we're back on the rumor mill, kind of, trade talk, kind of. This is players that I saw on Twitter that I think would be a fantastic fit for this team if they were to happen. So I thought we could discuss it, because we're always in the need of starting pitching. So I guess let's jump into it. This is from Talking Friars. I know some of you guys don't like Talking Friars. I like Talking Friars. But he said, I have no idea how realistic these guys are, but just throwing them out here for trades. Those are Shane McClanahan. I always forgot to say his name. Shane Smith, Max Meyer, Braxton Garrett. If you want to look at the stuff, feel free, but we're going to talk about them in just a second. Before we get too deep into the video, of course, we're going to have our quick word from our sponsor. Before we get into all the news today, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. When you download Kalshi using the link in the description and enter code DIGESTMLB, you'll get $20 when you trade your first $100. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the US. On their platform, you can trade yes or no on real-life events, sports, elections, news, pretty much everything. And whether you're in California, Texas, or anywhere else across the country, Kalshi is live in all 50 states. For sports fans, you can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market, where you can close positions at any time. I know we mostly focus on baseball around here, but with playoff football in full swing, things are getting intense. For example, looking at this AFC matchup involving my Patriots and the Denver Broncos, gotta do my hat switch real quick, with Drake May leading the way, I actually think these odds are pretty accurate. It's a good example of how you can jump into any market like this and trade based on how you see the game playing out. Not just that, you can also trade on in-game outcomes like how many points get scored or which players find the end zone. It's genuinely a smarter way to use your sports or news knowledge, and you can close positions whenever you want. So, download Kalshi with the link in the description, and don't forget to use code DIGESTMLB to get your $20 bonus. And thank you once again to Kalshi for sponsoring this video. Okay, hi, welcome back. So yeah, again, refresher, boop, 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 boop. That's who we're talking about today. So let's start with the first one, a name you probably do know. Now, obviously, quick qualifier. I know he's a very good player, and I know the chances are probably not as good as the other names on this list, but I still think it's important to talk about. So the biggest thing you'll see here is that it says 2023 MLB percentile rankings. Well, he hasn't pitched since 2023 because he's coming off Tommy John surgery, which means, yes, his value his value is still high, but it could also be the lowest it's been since he was in the league because he's coming off a very... I was going to say important injury. It's not an important injury. It's a very big surgery, I guess. But what you're getting with him, he's a power lefty with ace ceiling, high upper 90s fastball, high whiff rate, elite off-speed weapons, strong chase ability. And as you can see from most of it being red, he's a very good pitcher, right? Even though he has a very fast fastball, his fastball run value isn't the best, but he makes up for it with really good breaking stuff, really good off-speed stuff. Like we said, he gets a lot of people to strike out. Walks are around average, not great, not bad, but he does strike out a good amount of people. People can hit him pretty hard, but a lot of the balls are on the ground. And as always, Petco Park, pitcher's paradise. So it's not like it would be damning to pitch there. His expected ERA, it was 4.10 in 2023, but his ERA was 3.29, which means he did get a little lucky. And again, Randy Vasquez is the same exact way, just way worse. So if you're going to get lucky, the best place to do it is a park like Petco Park. But as you can see from his ERA, like 3.43 in 21, 2.54 in 22, 3.29 in 2023. So he's been a consistently good pitcher, and he's still relatively young. He has this year and next year on his in arbitration, so he won't be a free agent until 28. So for the right price, I think he would be a good pickup. We'll talk about the cost of what it would cost to get someone like him. But to be honest, even though he's really good, I don't think it's something realistic, but I think it's something worth exploring at the bare minimum, because it doesn't hurt to ask. You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt to ask. The next player, though, the rest of these will be more realistic. But the next player, Max Meyer, if you know him, right? But he's a former top prospect, high upside arm. Power slider is the standout pitch, good velocity, deep pitch mix, above average whiff ability, control and consistency, still developing, upside play, not a finished product. So, I know you're probably thinking, Andrew, this guy looks like he sucks. Why would we want him? So, yesterday, was it yesterday? At some point, I was talking about how we tend to go more for like aging veterans who have done good things and have proven themselves, but they're old now, right? For example, Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander still got some spunk in him, but let's say Max Scherzer, right? Obviously one of the best pitchers of all time, but he's old, right? So I know his stats don't look great, and yes, you could say he's JP Sears 2.0, but honestly, that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? I don't mind a JP Sears. He is someone, well, Max Meyer specifically, he is someone young, 26 years old. He has ARB until 2029. So 2030, he'll be a free agent. So why not get a guy who was a former top prospect, let Ruben Niebla work on him, and you can see from 2026 payroll, he's only making below $1 million. He's making below $1 million. So like, I think if we stack our bullpen, our we stack our rotation and our AAA rotation with potentially good arms who are young, moldable, trainable, I think Max Meyer would fit that, and I don't think he'd be super expensive. Yes, I know he's not the greatest, but I think there's something there, right? Like, he can strike people out. He has a good whiff rate. He doesn't walk as many people, above average in both things. He gets the ball on the ground most of the time. People do hit him hard, of course, but again, where do we play? Petco Park. His ERA is about what his expected ERA was, which means that he pitches to his potential, is the way I guess I can describe it. But I think there's good in here, and I think the Marlins would be willing to get rid of him for nothing too expensive. Now, the control thing might be a big deal, but I don't know. I think he has potential to be, I'm not saying he'll be a great pitcher. I'm not saying he'll be a sub 3 ERA, maybe even sub 4, but we don't really need a number 3 on the rotation. We need someone to fill out that 5 spot. And we have Kyle Hart, JP Sears, Tristan McKenzie, Matt Waldron, if you want to throw it in. There's a lot of pitchers that can fill that number 5 spot. And I think stacking that number 5 with as many pitchers as possible would be a great thing, because I'm sure they still have options left. I don't know how many options, but I'm sure they have options. So if one pitcher does really good, put him at number 5, then he starts struggling, put him down to AAA, put someone else in, and rotate that number 5. I don't see why that's a problem. Now, obviously, much easier said than done, but I don't know. There's something that would excite me. That sounded kind of weird, but you know what I mean? There's something that would be good to see if we got some good young players. Good young players, speaking of, Braxton Garrett. So this is a guy who has missed 24 and 25 after elbow surgery, kind of like Shane McClanahan. But if you see 2023 and 2022, he was pretty sneaky good. I mean, 31 games, 30 games started in 2023, 3.66 ERA. Absolutely, I would take that. 26, 27, 28 are under arbitration, so he still has some control left. So he's a command-first lefty, pitchability profile, strong 2023 season as a rotation regular, sinker, slider, heavy approach, limits walks, solid ground ball rates, targeting return in 2026. Yeah, so his numbers don't jump off the page, but he has good results, right? And even an expected ERA of 4.40 for a number 5 isn't horrible. Obviously, you'd want it to be better, but I think that 5.35 ERA was a result of possible injuries. I think if we put him in the correct circumstances, get him with Ruben Niebla, pitch him at Petco Park, which, again, as always, pitcher paradise, I think he'd be a good fit. His ground ball rate's high. He doesn't walk that many people, which is cool. Strikeouts with, is not really his thing. He's the kind of guy who puts the ball in play. Think like a Wandy Peralta type. Fastball velocity is not great, obviously, but his fastball run value is better than average, which means even though it's slow, he can still do good with it, right? So I don't think he's the sexiest pick, but I think of the options I'm putting here, he would be my favorite. Obviously, Shane's better, but he's unrealistic. I think for the realistic possibilities, he would be my favorite. And of course, we need a lefty. We don't need a lefty, but it'd be nice to have another lefty. You know what I mean? So that's why for him, I like it. Could it be better? Sure. But I like it for what it probably would cost us. And then finally, Shane Smith, the guy who's the youngest here, 25 years old, had a good season, honestly, with the White Sox. I almost said AAA White Sox at this point, maybe. But a 3.81 ERA, pretty good, right? Now, he's good. I don't know how realistic he would be because he's still pre-arbitration, so he's on his rookie contract, $760. So I don't think it's something the White Sox would really want to give up, but if they were to give someone up, like say we gave him Cronenworth or something and made a deal or something, I think it could work. But he's a power right-hander, durable frame, fastball-driven profile, high velocity, strong extension, solid whiff rates, average command, low-cost depth option. But as you can see, one of the best fastballs in the league. Right? Fastball velocity is 95.7, but one of the best fastballs according to run value. Breaking stuff is horrendous, but again, Ruben Niebla is really good at working with breaking balls, so I think that would help him. But expected batting average is better than average. Fastball velocity, whiff, strikes people out. Walks are a little bit of a problem, but you can work that out. People don't barrel him too hard. He's around average on ground balls. People do kind of hit him hard, but he's young, he's controllable, and he's still moldable. And who do we have on our team? Say it with me, Ruben Niebla. So I don't know if he's a day one number 5 starter, but when we lose our 3 next starters next year, or our top 3 starters next year in King, Pivetta, and why am I forgetting? King, Pivetta, and holy crap, I forgot. Hold on, I gotta check this now. Okay, maybe I am tripping. Maybe it's just King and Pivetta. But either way, when you lose those players, Shane Smith, I'm not saying he could fill in immediately, but I'm saying with some work, with some tweaking, he could be a good number 5. Maybe not this year, maybe next year, but I still think it's worth the investment, in my opinion. Sorry I had a massive brain fart. That wasn't fun. Anyways, let's talk about the trade cost plus likelihood. So we'll start with Braxton Garrett. Likely cost, 1 mid-tier prospect, top 10, top 15. Think Jagger Haynes or Francis Pena. Low-level flyer or depth arm. Likelihood, 45%. Marlins will listen. Cost fits Padres' current asset pool. Cleanest need innings now move. Max Meyer, likely cost, 1 upper-tier prospect, think Jorge Quintana, which I would hate. Or 2 solid prospects, Cale Fountain, Brian Balzer. That's a cool name. Balzer. Likelihood 35%. Upside makes Marlins hesitant, but Padres like the profile. Price creeps up. Very AJ Preller coded move if price softens. Shane Smith. Likely cost, low-level prospect or organization depth arm. Eric Yost, Tucker Musgrove, possibly player to be named later. I don't agree with that. I think they'll ask for a little bit more than that because he is so young and so controllable, but has some good stuff. But likelihood 55%. I would say 50%, but you know what? I'm not going to argue with Bestie GBT. White Sox are motivated sellers, easy deal structurally. Question is whether Padres want this tier. And then Shane McClanahan, likely cost 2 top prospects minimum. Example, Ethan Salas, Cruz Schoolcraft, MLB ready talent, likelihood 5%. Rays don't sell low. Padres lack surplus elite prospects. More rumor fuel than real negotiation. So he called me out on clickbait, but that's okay. So if we had to rank it, it'd be Shane Smith the most likely. I would say Braxton Garrett over Shane Smith, but that's fine, right? Cheapest cost, White Sox motivated, clean depth move, Braxton Garrett. Best balance of controllable innings and a realistic price. Max Meyer, upside is there, but Padres only bite if cost softens. And then Shane McClanahan, elite talent, elite price. Padres don't have the ammo. So, yeah, a lot of players to be named here, of course. My favorite being Braxton Garrett. But what do you guys think about these names? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you have any other names you want me to bring up? And as always, have a fantastic rest of your day. Go Padres and go Patriots. Woo!